Hello and welcome to our local to global series. We are, of course, playing as the Random Wrestling Review, and we have reached the end of 1998, and we're going to immediately progress to the end of the month. I will confess right now, up front on this episode, that I wouldn't be surprised if we don't actually fit in a show today, to be honest, because we've got a couple of things to do. I mean, first of all, we've got the year-end awards in the kind of rest of the world to look at and see what's happened, which is always of interest, I think. So we're going to look at that. We've also got to sign somebody new because we are about to lose Johnny Grunge from the roster. He just made his last appearance for the company on our Double Trouble show, and so will not be available to us going forward. He obviously has signed an exclusive deal with ECW. It does appear like there's been some growth from WWC, possibly from UWA over the course of the game, and they are making exclusive contract offers, and that has prompted ECW to do the same. Of course, ECW is still existing at this point in the timeline. I'm quite interested to see whether or not this mod has in it events that closed WCW and ECW come 2001. But obviously, we're quite a long way away from that at the moment, so perhaps something to think about in the future. I guess whilst we're waiting for this all to load, good time to take a look at the rankings, which is as as follows, I should say. Dave Batista, obviously the champion, 15 wins he now has in his career. He's only lost 5 times and certainly hasn't lost since becoming champion. He's our record setting RWR Northwest champion as well, following his 8th defense of the RWR title last in December. Then we got Barry Buchanan now is the number one contender on his own and significantly far away from everybody else. Like he really is. He has moved ahead of all the rest of the top contenders with 8 points. I will reveal now, though, that he's not going to get his title shot in the January show. I've already got a very specific main event match that I want to take place um, in that show. Underneath Barry Buchanan, we've got the brothers Keith and Bruce Hart, both with 5 points. Then C.W. Anderson and Ace Steel on 4 points. Ekmo and Charlie Haas on 3 points. The Shadow, who of course is James Storm in a mask, and Buddy Wayne on 2 points. One Man Gang and Kid Chaos on 1 point. And then we've got Chemo, Dog, Rose, and Sean Stasiak all on 0 points, following Chemo returning to the company just recently, and also, of course, Sean Stasiak having a title shot not too long ago, and then Dog and Rose losing both to Batista on the last show, both in title matches, of course. So yeah, we're waiting for 1998 to complete. We move into 1999 in game world, and that's pretty cool. I'm really glad that we've got this far. And if you've been enjoying this series and you're not yet subscribed, please click on the subscribe button and give us a follow along. It's been really gratifying, as I said before, that the comments we've been getting have been really positive, but also actually viewing numbers have gone up since as I'm recording this in the last few episodes. So hopefully that will continue. So let's take a look at these. Let's take a look at these end of year awards. First of all, Wrestler of the Year has gone to Bret Hart. So in 1998, Bret Hart, still working for WWF, has been named Wrestler of the Year. Company of the Year has gone to the World Wrestling Federation. Team of the Year, Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash. Two dudes with attitudes back together, and they won the Tag Team of the Year. Match of the Year, Shawn Michaels and Owen Hart against Bret Hart and Steve Austin on Monday Night Raw in October. I mean, I'm not shocked that was a great match at all. Show of the Year was the In Your House for December for WWF. Can we get to that easily? Show history. Let's see what happened, where we are with the WWF at the moment. Owen Hart defeated The Undertaker to retain the WWF World Heavyweight title in a 100 rated match in the main of that show. No wonder it won Show of the Year, show rating of 95. It also had Bret Hart versus Jeff Jarrett in a 99 rated match, and Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash against Steve Austin and Road Warrior Animal, the Body Donners. How did that happen in a 96 rated match? I've got to look at this. How did this happen? It is a stable. I think it is a stable because of the way it's been written. The Body Donners are Skip, Steve Austin, Sonny, and Road Warrior Animal. That is phenomenal. I just got to say that is absolutely phenomenal. So that's where we are with WWF at the moment. Owen Hart is the WWF champion. That's cool. Young Wrestler of the Year is Rey Mysterio Jr. I think he's won that 4 times now. He's won that one. Veteran Wrestler of the Year, Ric Flair. Third time he's won that one. He snatched it away from Hulk Hogan, who looked like he was about to win this at the half year. Kira Hakotu's won Female Wrestler of the Year for the 4th time. Most Improved Company is the World Wrestling Council. So we knew that they were growing. We've seen traces of that throughout the game in the last few months. Independent Wrestler of the Year is Jeff Jarrett. Who does Jeff Jarrett work for? He works for WWF on a handshake deal, but also WWC and USWA. Manager of the Year was Victor Quinones, I guess from WWC as well. Announcer of the Year, Jim Ross. Color Commentator of the Year is Vince McMahon. Commentator of the Year, wow. And Referee of the Year was Charles Robinson for the 2nd time. Now, we also have some news of our own, but before we get to that, WCW Starrcade happened. And in the main event, Scott Hall and Randy Savage defeated Sting and Rey Mysterio Jr. in a 98 rated tag team main event. Hulk Hogan defeated the Taskmaster. Arn Anderson defeated British Bulldog. Some interesting stuff there, but no world title match in the main event of WCW Starrcade this year. Very interesting indeed. And you will have to forgive me because I still have a cough. It is lingering, and these recordings always bring me out in more coughs, so I do apologize for that. So, Johnny Grunge has left RWR. This doesn't look good. One Man Gang. Oh, no. One Man Gang has agreed to an extension with ECW on an exclusive written contract. This is the problem. WWC keep coming in for our talent, and every time they do, ECW protect their talent because they're on kind of handshake deals and sign them to exclusive deals away from us. So what that ultimately means is that we're also going to lose One Man Gang. And that is really frustrating because I had hoped to build him up as a monster heel to eventually take on, to take on who am I talking about? To take on Batista. That was really what I wanted to do. I also wanted, but before that, I wanted a long, drawn-out feud between he and Buddy Wayne. Now that's not going to happen, and that also means I need to move around the show that I had planned for January show. So putting the idea of there being a show covered in this episode of the podcast even less likely now because I've got to redo the plans for it. Before we go any further, I wanted to look at the size of the company because we have now moved up to 10, which is really great. Still a long way till we're tiny. We've got to be up to 17, but we are growing all of the time financially as well. We are very well off. We made a profit of $1,956 in the last month. That means we got $24,000 in total. We are fine financially. The company's doing well, but the gaps in our roster that we're having to fill due to, I think ultimately what's happening is nothing to do with us, but ultimately what's happening is that UWA are trying to they've done really well in 1998, and they are trying to add wrestlers to their roster. And the wrestlers they're going for are ECW wrestlers who are also working for us. And when they go for them, ECW are countering the UWA's offer with a new exclusive written deal to go work for ECW, which means they can no longer work for us. As I say, nothing to do with us. It just happens to be that we're the ones losing out. So that is another problem. I've now got to replace One Man Gang, although I think I can defer that until February because we've got One Man Gang for the next show at least. And I've got to already and knew that I had to replace Johnny Grunge. Now, we haven't got a January show, have we, as a annual thing? So we're going to go for RWR Total Chaos is going to be the next is going to be the next show. Special Friday week 2. So yeah, Total Chaos is going to be our next show that we put on. I know what the main event's going to be for that, but before I go any further, I do need to now figure out who we're going to bring into the roster. I need a babyface. I need someone to replace Johnny Grunge, who obviously has left the company. Christopher Daniels is tempting, but again, he's where I'm concerned here is that there are a lot of wrestlers who have handshake deals with these companies. Maybe CM Punk, currently unemployed. I guess, did he come into the game in January of '99? Yes, he did. So he's just entered the game world, but he would be somebody that would be well worth us picking up. I see him more as a heel though, and that might be somebody that we can bring in to replace One Man Gang. And I think we have to start thinking about going a little bit sort of um yeah, a little bit sort of what's the word I'm looking for? We have to change our approach to who we're signing, because I think we're getting burned by signing wrestlers that have a name for themselves before I sign them. Um because as I say, we've lost the Public Enemy recently, we're losing One Man Gang now. It's happening quite a lot at the moment. So I'm just wondering who I bring in as a baby face to replace Johnny Grunge. Think I am going to sign CM Punk, but I'm not going to do it for this month. I don't think we need to do that just yet. So Doug Williams would be quite interesting, I think. But again, I don't know. Maybe not. Uh, Eddie Colon, 16-year-old. I guess that's primo. Um, Who else is possible here? Genichiro Tenryu. 3,100 per show. I don't think we've quite got the money to afford that, and that would fly in the face of all of our kind of talk of bringing in lesser known wrestlers and building them up, as we've done with Batista, for example. That's worked really well. Jeff Hardy could be somebody, um, kind of very good wrestler, obviously. I'm very tempted to bring him in, actually. Jeff Hardy. Uh, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to see what happens. Bringing it. Yeah, because he left WWF. He's working for Omega. Let's just, before we go any further, let's just see when he's available. So he's available on Friday, so that's fine. Let's call that our first choice is Jeff Hardy for now. I am mindful, to be honest, to bring in good, well-known wrestlers, because it's worked really well for the numbers of people watching the videos, to be quite frank with you. So that's always quite fun. I mean, Mark Henry, could we bring in Mark Henry? Yeah, I mean, I think that would be quite cool. Uh, who else could I? Who else could we potentially bring in? So the idea here as well is that I'm likely to have this person come in and beat C.W. Anderson on their first appearance. Rick Martel was excellent, but he costs too much. He was excellent for us in his one appearance. No, we didn't have him, did we? We have Tito, didn't we? Yeah, he was good, but I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go in that direction. I'm thinking. Yeah, I am thinking at this point in time that we're going to get Jeff Hardy. 1999 is about the time he started to wrestle regularly on the main roster of WWF as well, so I feel like it's not too early. I mean, he was working on the main roster of WWF actually for a while before 99, but mainly as a jobber. So he wants 270 per show. That's fine. We're going to bring Jeff Hardy in as the latest member of our roster. So I think that's quite a good signing ahead of Total Chaos. And I think, as I said, I think I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave um the replacement for One Man Gang until the next show. And this actually now is looking likely that we will get in an event on this show, or at least book the event. But as I said, I've got to fill around with things, because I was planning for One Man Gang to get a kind of squash victory almost, and also on the night attack Buddy Wayne and put Buddy Wayne out of action for a bit. As it stands, um, I'm gonna have to put One Man Gang and Buddy Wayne in a match against each other in a rematch at this show. And I think I'm going to make it like a no holds barred style match, almost to kind of give us a yeah, a reason for us to just go straight to it. I'm okay with that. It's gone from flabby to average. Fair enough, One Man Gang. I'm okay with that because here we go, CMML crisis. So this is the thing, CMML have obviously moved up a size recently and then gone back down because we had the news item on the last episode that told us that CMML were looking to expand, and now of course they're now in crisis. So I think they're on the sort of boundary between being big and small. And this game, the version of the game I'm playing, seems to not have the kind of grace period after they move up a size, which is causing, because we saw, I think WCW had the same issue at some point in the past. Yeah, I've got to kind of move around this show, but I quite like the idea of just going to a no disqualification match between One Man Gang and Buddy Wayne. But we're just not obviously not going to build him up anymore because there's no point. He's leaving, so we need to just bring One Man Gang and Buddy Wayne to a finish. But I already know another match that frees up to happen. Um, apologies for that cough. I didn't mean to do that directly into the microphone, but it just came quicker than I imagined it would. And Jeff Hardy will make his debut against C.W. Anderson. So that does mean Buddy Wayne is not on the show. Buddy Wayne was going to be on this show, and he's not on it now because Barry Buchanan was going to be on the show, but he's not on it now because. In fact, what we're going to do is Barry Buchanan is going to cut a promo ahead of a title match that he's going to get against Batista at the February show. So that also is fine for me in that respect. So let's move around some storylines. What I'm going to do is remove Batista from this because we can continue this storyline as I planned it anyway. And we're going to have Dave Batista versus Barry Buchanan. This is to build up to their match at the February show. I don't imagine it going any longer than that, but just the fact that we're building it up with a promo on this next our next event just makes sense to then to put that in as well. So yeah, there's been another show where another episode of this podcast of this video series where I'm just like, what do I how do I get around another wrestler leaving us? Let me reveal then what the main event is going to be, because I think this is the easiest thing for me to deal with. It's going to be a 4-way tag team match. Is this is this an elimination? Is it elimination or is it 1-4? It's 1-4. So a 4-way tag team match for the titles is going to be Bad Crew, who are Dog and Rose. They're going to be up against Dave Batista and Sean Stasiak, and ECMO and Chemo, the Samoan Violence Connection, and Keith and Bruce Hart. So this is the main event. It's got a lot of guys in it that can't really go for a huge amount of time. And plus, we do know that our fans don't really like long matches or anything more than 15 minutes they get bored of. The winner, though, is going to be Keith Hart. He is going to pin. I think we've decided he's going to pin one of these two, so that's fine. That's not what I wanted to do. Where's it gone? It's going to be an open match. It's going to be a slow build, and we're going to end it with, I think, a submission. I think Keith's going to put the sharpshooter on. Let's have him use the sharpshooter and pin him that way. Bruce Hart is going to struggle apparently to get through this one, but I think that's a pretty strong main event given who's involved. We've got our RWR Northwest champion in there. We've got 2 feuds that are covered by this match, and Bad Crew are finally going to lose their tag team titles. We're also then going to have the no. So what's going to happen to start the show is that Buddy Wayne is going to come out and demand demands a rematch against One Man Gang. He accepts match, but proposes no DQ. So 6 minutes is fine. Might even go 7 minutes for this one. So effectively, that's what's going to happen in the opening segment of the show. We're then going to have so. So I know I said last time about having the Shadow versus Kid Chaos and not really wanting to do it. I'm going to do it anyway. We're going to have the Shadow win. See, this is the problem. I didn't really want this match to happen because I didn't really want the Shadow to beat Kid Chaos, like, really simply. But I guess that feud's over now, isn't it? So, okay. I'm someone who's a stickler for just trying to stick to what we've done in the past. And obviously, over 3 matches, James Storm could not beat Kid Chaos. So to have James Storm now under a mask and nobody knows that it's James Storm, at least in the kayfabe of the story, for him to then beat Kid Chaos in their first encounter just feels a little bit cheap, if I'm honest. We'll do some storytelling and we'll have a cheap win as well. Not cheap win, tainted win. That's what I want. And a submission win. I want the submission win to happen because I want after the match, even though I won't put this as a segment, I want there to be after the match like a few moments where the Shadow just holds on to the submission for a bit longer. Because obviously James Storm still has that anger at Kid Chaos for kind of banishing him from the promotion in the first place. So the Shadow should sort of keep it on just for a bit longer and then let go because obviously in his mind he realizes he has to maintain the sense that he's completely anonymous because he shouldn't be wrestling in Random Wrestling Review. His pre-match stipulation was that he would have to leave the company. So then we're going to have, I think, we're going to have the C.W. Anderson match against Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's debut, of course, for the company. 9 minutes. Jeff Hardy will win. We'll give it an all-out match. Why not? Pinfall finish. Very nice. Jeff Hardy is in. We also want Charlie Haas to face Ace Steel. I'll make this one 12 minutes. Ace Steel's going to win it. Flash pinfall finish, I think, for this one. Yeah, and then after this, we were going to have C.W. Anderson come out. And tell Haas they need to try again. But this time, do things his way. And I'll get to what I mean by all that in a minute. As I said, during the show, I'll put some more detail into these promos and whatnot so that it's obvious, it's more obvious what I'm getting at. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. There should be one more match, and I can't find it on my sheet here. Shadow Kid Chaos. Oh yeah, One Man Gang and Buddy Wayne, of course. Check that we're where I think we should be. We are. So this one, yeah, I was going to make this a kind of a bit more of a hardcore match, maybe. Is the hardcore match? It's got an average prestige. Has it got risk? How much is the risk here? Content risk is average. I'm just a bit worried because we are a family friendly show that this will annoy some people, but we're going to go with it. Buddy Wayne's going to win and overcome the right. Yeah, we're going to have a mayhem match as well. So we're going to make it as yeah, we're going to continue anyway. We don't care. So here you go. This is Pat Patterson telling us that the match type is going to be a problem for the fans, and that I don't want to make it a problem for the fans. Can we What's a street fight in terms of risk? Average again. I want one that's sort of obviously not barbed wire. That's going to be no good. I'm not going to use a cage match, and the reason I'm not going to do it is because I always think when you're a company this size, you wouldn't have a cage match. You wouldn't have the money to buy a cage, so I just don't really feel like that's really very realistic. Can we have a last man standing? Content risk is low. This might be the one we want. Yeah, of course. There we go. 10 count finish. Yes, we can have that one without the fans being unhappy. I don't care about One Man Gang being unhappy. He's going, so it's not really a problem for me. But I also want to book as well one more thing, which is Barry Buchanan hyping up his match next month with Dave Batista. He says that next month he will take Batista's title. 5 minutes will do. And this is obviously the next month when they face one another. I think I'm right in saying this will mean that Batista's held the belt for a full year. But that might be wrong. I feel like that's wrong for some reason. I'll have a look in a minute. So Barry Buchanan is going to do that there. So we've got everybody, and One Man Gang's extremely unhappy. That's fine, and commentators are not necessary. And yeah, I wanted to check when it was that Batista won the Northwest title. It was in February. Yes, it was in February. It was at the Fighting Spirit show last month. Oh, sorry, last year. So it will mark 1 year since Batista's been champion next month when he faces Barry Buchanan in the title match. So that's everything, I think. Don't think we need to do anything else. Let's move into the show then. So we've got 85 people, so not so many people at this one, which is a bit of a shame. We start with a segment where Buddy Wayne comes to the ring and says that he's not interested in waiting about. He wants a rematch against One Man Gang tonight, and he won't. Apologies, sorry. He wants a match against One Man Gang tonight, and he's calling him out right now. One Man Gang comes out and says that he's not quite ready to wrestle right now, so they'll have to do it a little bit later. But he accepts the match, and he proposes that they do it in a last man standing match. I know I've got no DQ there, but that's what we would have changed on the fly, given that we can't do the no DQ match. It's got a segment rating of 36, which is really good and meant that the feud between these two gained heat. Buddy Wayne struggled when going off script, and One Man Gang was also poor. Buddy Wayne's gimmick is getting stale. I need to make a note of that as well. Yeah, good start to the show. Then we had the Shadow versus Kid Chaos in the opening match of the night. This one got a segment rating of 29. The Shadow was good, defeating Kid Chaos in 8:23 by submission after blatantly cheating. As I said and noted earlier on, the Shadow just keeps that submission hold on for a little bit longer after the match, which, perhaps shows a little bit of aggression and anger, but shouldn't give away the game that the Shadow is James Storm. He then releases the hold. Shadow got an in-ring performance here of 31, Kid Chaos and 19. Then CW Anderson versus Jeff Hardy, and Jeff Hardy, well, he's come in and already looks an absolutely great addition to this roster. Defeats CW Anderson in 8:41 by pinfall with a Swanton Bomb with an in-ring performance of 40. And I've just realized I didn't check what Jeff Hardy was coming in as, a babyface or a heel, or his gimmick, but he's come in with the Daredevil gimmick and he's got an initial rating of great, so I'm happy nonetheless. A segment rating of 39 has to be one of the best matches this company's ever put on. Then afterwards, Barry Buchanan comes out and takes the microphone and he says that next month he will be facing Dave Batista for the title. He says Batista will be celebrating 1 year as the RWR Northwest champion, and Barry Buchanan is going to ruin the party and take the title away. A segment rating here of 31. Barry Buchanan enjoyed having the freedom to go off script and perform well. and that's really good. Well done to him. Segment rating of 31, pretty good indeed. So next up we had RA Steel defeat Charlie Haas in 12 minutes and 7 seconds by pinfall with a fast roll up. A Steel has an in-ring performance of 31, Charlie Haas a 21. Haas was really off his game. Segment rating of 29 nonetheless. Then the continuing story between Charlie Haas and CW Anderson. So CW Anderson comes out and says to Haas, like, he knows that their first attempt at being a proper tag team last month didn't go so well. And he says, but tonight hasn't gone well for either of them either. They've both lost their matches. And says that they need to try the tag team thing again, because when they got it right against Bad Crew a couple of months back, they managed to take the tag team champions to a time limit draw. And he says the only way, however, that for them to be successful is to do things his way, which is to say that CW Anderson wants Charlie Haas to act in a more heelish way to help them win their matches. A segment rating of 25, the continuing story here, I quite like. And CW Anderson improvised well throughout the segment. However, Charlie Haas was still terrible. Then we get the last man standing match between One Man Gang and Buddy Wayne. We upped our kind of threshold of risk for one night with this match. And Buddy Wayne defeats One Man Gang in the match, 10 minutes and 7 seconds, when One Man Gang could not be a 10 count. Segment rating of 31, very, very nice indeed. One Man Gang had an in-ring performance of 39. Disappointing to see him go, but that's just the way it goes in Buddy Wayne. I think his best ever performance for our company was 31, and Buddy Wayne gets the victory here. Obviously, plans have changed. I was not expecting to go with this in this way when I booked, or when I started the One Man Gang Buddy Wayne feud, but this is how it's ended. Now we're going to find something new for Buddy Wayne, I suppose, going forward. And then the main event, a 32 rated match, which is pretty damn good. Chemo a 39, Sean Stasiak at 35. Those were the highlights. Batista's still not bad, 29. ECMO 28. The others not so great. Although I think Dog and Rose have improved over the course of their tag team title reign. So I am impressed with that at least. And the Hart Brothers become the new RWR Northwest Tag Team Champions. Ironically, the worst performing wrestlers in the match become the new tag team champions. So the Hart Brothers take the titles here in 1521. And that is the end of the show. One of our best ever shows, no doubt about it. An overall rating of 31. Show increases our popularity in one region. We'll quickly just make this speech. I think obviously Jeff Hardy, praised for a great performance. I mean, he was great. Sean Stasiak complimented on a good performance as well. And I think Buddy Wayne is best ever performance for us as well. So we'll make that speech, and that is how I will leave you today, because we've already run over quite significantly the half an hour we planned for these episodes to go. We'll be back again very shortly, but thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.